Hello everyone, and welcome to Tiny Bunny. I have pink hair, and it's short now, and I also have a face. That's pretty cool. I'm really hoping that this is gonna work, because I'm trying to record on separate audio tracks this time. It's not the first time I've tried this, and every time it has failed miserably, so I'm trusting in the power of internet tutorials, and if this doesn't work, it's my editor's fault. Also, I don't know if this was always here. I did try this at one point, and I was just gonna, start from the beginning, because I wasn't sure. That part of the recording might end up in here, I'm not sure. But basically, it looked kind of different. It might just be that I don't remember anything, so I'm just gonna start it from the beginning, because, I don't know, I noticed that they were calling Tony Tosha, so I'm thinking maybe because it's the full game, it's different. And honestly, I barely remember this game anyway. God, how long has it been? 6 months? Half a year-ish? I honestly don't know. I read this part. The wind clawed at my window all night long. It wandered the fields and howled like a hungry beast. An endless song, weaved from all sorts of voices, shrill, gentle, sneery, twined in the air. They were shouting and laughing, and arguing about something. Someone was running through the snow while casting long shadows that would occasionally creep close to my bed. Our house has a mind of its own, the creaky old mind of a building that has seen a lot in its days, and will seemingly try to share its wisdom with the inhabitants. The lonely house faced the forest, and the dark green thicket gazed back with its hollow eyes, rustling, whizzing, swaying back and forth. One could come out and stand at the edge of the forest to reassure themselves there was nobody behind the crooked trees. Fuzzy silhouettes swaying in the wind couldn't possibly do any harm. It's just a play of light and shadow. Just a play. I knew it was just my imagination. I was already 12 after all. Still. And there's the fox in the window. I thought it was a wolf originally. See, this is new. I like this. Episode 1. The owl will arrive. Hey, put away your book. How many times have I told you not to read at the table? It's bad for your health. Look at how slouched you are. Hide the book. She'll never know. She didn't see anything. I didn't protest and put the book about Conan the Barbarian aside. I think I remember that. I was stuck on a line I couldn't understand after reading it 3 times anyway. Olia had already finished her breakfast and was munching on some cookies. She was so enthusiastic, she almost looked like your typical girl from commercials. You're not going anywhere until you finish all of it. I, on the other hand, was still trying to drill a hole in the plate with my eyes, as if it would make the porridge disappear. Why are you eating porridge on a plate? Hazy anxiousness welled up inside, all because of the previous sleepless night, the black forest around our house, and the gloomy wind. I've always wanted to live in the country, but I feel like the forest would freak me out so much at night. The longer I waited, the colder the lumpy white substance became. It looked like a jellyfish from the Cousteau Odyssey. I love that show. No idea what that is. I wonder how horrifying the bottom of the ocean is. I remember that, because the ocean is terrible. Or how cold the Black Forest is at night. And I dropped my spoon. The spoon fell out of my hand. Mom showered me with a cold glare from her green eyes. What did I just say? I'll get it. I had 10 seconds to catch my breath before battling the nasty porridge once again. I felt around for the spoon. What is this, carved on the other side of the table? Karina. Ha, that's my mom's name. I remember that. I guess she carved it out with something pointy when she was little. She sure was a rascal damaging the furniture like that. She would scold me for a week if I did something similar, though. Should I remind her about it? No. No, she's been in a bit of a bad mood lately. I mean, you probably shouldn't remind her of that at any time. That's a good way to piss her off. I imagine her being my age, sitting under this table. I wonder, was Mom afraid of the dark back then? Probably. Or the sounds coming from the attic. Also probably. Or the thick forest. Oops, sorry, I don't want to poke you in the eye, Grandma. My poor mouse. I imagine my grandma coming into my little mom's room, sitting at the edge of her bed, where Olia sleeps nowadays, and saying this in her soft, smooth voice. I Can't really do a soft, smooth old lady voice. Taiga is a special place, little girl. It's watching you closely, sniffing you out, trying to discern what kind of beast you are. If you're a good sort, it won't abandon you in times of trouble. But if you're a bad apple, it'll grab you by the side and... why do I always start yawning when I record? That's not fair. It'll grab you by the side and drag you underground. And that would be it. Grandma was caring. She never fought with anybody, never yelled, never swore. Those were the times without the maddening screams until late at night, without smashed dishes and mutual accusations. Our parents used to love each other back then. That's rough, kid. I remember listening in on one of their conversations by chance. They were talking about Grandma getting prepared for her funeral. She had already bought a casket, memento mori, and she called it her cute funeral box. No. It waited for its time in the closet, patiently. It was black, upholstered with meat-colored material on the inside. Ew. Ew. I saw it when my grandma was getting buried. I feel like I remember this a little. Honestly, I can't tell what's new and what's not, because it's been so long since I played it. The house didn't change since the time she was alive. Only all the photos were gone. Either way, it's a good refresher, because, I feel like if I just jumped to whatever is supposed to come after the prologue, I would be completely lost. Glass-covered pictures with gray faces of my ancestors. They all had a dead but watchful look in their eyes. That's weird. I crawled out from under the table. How long were you sitting? Why were you sitting on the table for so long? I don't even remember. What were you doing down there? I have no idea. Okay. Anyway, that's fine. Olia was done with her cookies and was looking at my share like a sly woodland creature. I turned my gaze towards the frosted window. There were a lot of dark pines outside, but they didn't grab my attention. Ugh, why? The pattern of frost formed a picture on the glass. It's the fox. Oh yeah, look, it's a fox. Where? It almost looked like those optical illusion thingies they put on the back of student notebooks. A mixture of lines at first glance, but if you blur your vision a little and look under a certain angle. Not outside, on the window. Look, here's the nose, and here's... Hey, eat up. Yes, yes, just a moment. Fancy. Fancy little child in a sweater vest. I don't see anything. Hurry up, there's not much left. Don't rush me, woman. I'll eat my porridge as I please. Ah, there it is. But it still doesn't look like one. And I'm telling you it does. Nuh-uh. It does. Stop it. These kids, I swear. Now I couldn't see the fox either. I can. There's the part of the mane and there's an ear. The blind child? It disappeared. I swear to God. One more yawn. I swear to God. It disappeared. Went away. Only the frosty pattern, similar to stretched out nettle leaves, kept creeping up the glass. My dad entered the kitchen with long, measured steps. I want to have a beard like his when I grow up. Mom would always ask jokingly, come on, shave it off. It stings. It's not really asking, she's telling. Also, how does your beard sting? You got porcupine? Porcupine for a husband. This was so long ago. Nowadays, rumbling doors and witty comebacks were an everyday occurrence. Olia always covered her ears when she hears something like, what's the point in all this, through the wall. It's all for your sake, Dad would reply, for the sake of our family. I always caught every sound in fear of hearing the most dreaded, the deadliest word that started with a D. Divorce! D-I-V-O. I don't even want to finish it. I'll do it for you. Divorce. It was scary to imagine that me and my little sister could be torn apart and taken into two different families. Divorce is really common nowadays. I mean, I don't really think this is nowadays, considering all of this. It doesn't really look like these times. The times of COVID and all that fun stuff. Anyway, your fox is nothing. I have an owl on my window. You and your owl talk again. You said you believed me yesterday. Has anybody seen my car keys? I remember leaving them on the windowsill. Right. Maybe you did, and maybe not. You're a grown man, a father of two, and still... Karina, please stop. Just let me get ready in peace. Yeah, butt out, lady. Your keys are in the basket, near the phone. Well, thank you very much. She's really cranky. Anton, stop making a martyr out of yourself and finish eating already. But the owl. There was no owl. But there was one. It had giant glowing eyes. Olia sprung up from the chair and placed her hands on her little face, imitating a pair of eyes with her fingers the size of an apple each. Last year you had Baba in your closet, and now this. Hello? Glossary. Oh. That's kind of cool. Babai, in Slavic folklore, a nocturnal spirit used by parents to threaten their ill-behaving children. Well, that's actually kind of neat. Last year you had Babai in your closet, and now this owl? But I saw it. Olia shifted her gaze back and forth from Dad to Mom to me, but couldn't find any support. Have you thought about befriending it? Yeah, maybe you just... okay, listen. No, don't feed it with imaginary mice. Feed it with real mice. Appease the ancient spirit. You know, like feeding it with imaginary mice. Don't bully our girl. She's just afraid to sleep alone because she's still little. Olia pouted her lips in rebellion and rushed into the hallway. The staircase that led to the second floor creaked. Mom gave Dad a strict look. Yeah, I stand with my neck hunched out when I'm mad too. Oh, that look in her eyes. It's so uncomfortable to be pinned under it. Who's texting me? What do you want? I don't care. I'm busy. It doesn't matter. Dad snorted in reply and left, ringing with the keys he just found. A minute had passed, and the theme song from The Little Mermaid echoed through the house. It was stored on incredibly worn-out cassette tapes, which Dad had already had to glue together once. It's so easy to fix objects by gluing them back together, for example. But how do you fix a relationship? Well, marriage counseling is a good idea. Mom moved to the living room, and I was left alone, anxiously stealing glances at the window. Olia had trouble sleeping ever since we moved to this house. Maybe it's haunted. She would toss and turn or curl up into a ball under her blanket. Sometimes she would jump up in the middle of the night and turn on the VCR. Cartoons helped to take her mind off all the troubles we had with the move and our parents. Oof, hello. And then Olia said she saw that giant flying monster outside her window. Don't call it a monster, maybe it's an ice owl. She became obsessed with it. Our parents did everything in their power. They tried every little trick to get rid of those ridiculous fears. Olia refused to sleep alone and didn't believe that the owl was just one of her nightmares. After last night, I was unsure what to make of my sister's words, what to think of it myself. Can nightmares be infectious? I mean, there's some sort of scientific thing of shared delusion, isn't there? So maybe. Dream theory. That night, I couldn't get a wink of sleep and ended up thinking of what to expect from my new school. This is really intense music for this. There were a couple of days left before the beginning of a new term. My imagination drew long, twisted hallways that led to a classroom full of kids. But all the students behind their desks were simply dark figures cut out using a template. Circular holes gaped in the middle of their faces. Stop getting in my face, please. And pairs of eyes blinked inside those holes. It was as if some completely different creatures were looking at me from behind the flat black silhouettes. Their cruel glares, filled with icy sneers, made me shiver from head to toe. Will I survive here? Won't they gang up on me and beat me down? Stomp on me with their bloodied shoes? How aggressive is the school you go to? The damn school can burn for all I care. I just wished for anything to happen to it. Doesn't really matter what. I didn't want to go there that badly. Me too. I don't like school, but I don't have to go anymore, so it's fine. I didn't want to see people who were just itching to smack me on the head, trip me up, think of a new offensive name for me, worse than the previous one. I felt like the glasses I wore made me an outsider, or some sort of monster. My gaze slid across the drawings hanging on the wall. You're a very dramatic child. Glasses don't make you a freak. I couldn't consider myself a great artist, but Olia begged me to hang them. Drawing was the only thing that made me happy as of late. The small circle of friends I had also enjoyed my paintings. Are they drawings or paintings? Make up your mind. And they promised to call me from time to time. Let me guess they didn't call. Sometimes I imagine Mom picking up the phone and saying in a cold voice, "You've got the wrong number," or "Anton is not around." Anton is not around. I imagine my future classmates lying in their beds, just like me, listening to the howls of invisible werewolves outside their windows. Maybe my new classmates will like me after all. But who would ever like a boy with thick glasses? Dude, your glasses do not define you. I mean, my dad used to wear glasses when he was little, and now he's married to the most beautiful woman on the planet, my mom. The house creaked, pressed by the wind. The condo we used to live in, a 9-floor concrete building, buzzed with the neighbor's drill, mumbled with a TV set from behind the wall, cried like a baby from the big family next door. Our current house, though, I can't really call it new, was completely different. It was silent and easygoing during the day. Its shadows lay dormant in the corners, on the closest cobwebs, and under the stairs. But they all woke up during the night. They're nocturnal. Something was watching me from every corner, almost as if the old photos of my deceased family with their ashen eyes were hanging on the walls in place of my drawings. The floor was squeaking, rusty drains were moaning, the attic was occupied by noisy drafts. One could think the house was performing some sort of demonic melody. And then I realized I was, in fact, hearing music. It was already playing for a good while. I love the music. It's fantastic. Somewhere at the edge of my perception, I could hear a flute. It was mixed in with the sounds of the wind, of the creaking old house, and my thoughts, too. I stood up and rushed to the window. I wanted to reassure myself that this music was nothing more than a product of my imagination. It's not like someone is playing it there amidst the cold, snowy night, right? Oh. Okay. Open. Oh, I remember this. The bear, the Birdman, and I don't know, what are you even doing? A couple of wolves. And that thing. Someone was dancing in the field. That's more than one someone. Black silhouettes I could barely make out, with the dark forest as their backdrop. Gosh, the art in this game is so pretty. This is a little unnerving, though. It kind of, I don't know, the way they're moving kind of reminds me of the bunnies from Blood Sea. Stop texting me. I don't know if anyone has watched that, but it's like the bunnies with the blenders for hands. They're a little terrifying. They jumped around, basked in moonlight, bumped into piles of snow, rolled around and crawled on all fours. Stories about wolves playing under the moon came to mind, but these were clearly not wolves. I mean, 2 of them kind of look like wolves. That's definitely a bear, though, and that's definitely a Birdman. That kind of looks like a lizard dragon thing. It's like got horns or whatever. I don't know. They stood upright at times, circled around, holding hands and whipping up snow, disappearing into the shadows for a brief moment and then coming back. Something bizarre was going on. Shadows dancing in the starless abyss made my imagination go wild, making me anxious at the same time. Hi. Suddenly the music had stopped. They kind of all look like they're staring right at me. That's really great. The dancing shadows froze in place, and I could swear pierced me with their eyes. One of the silhouettes immediately parted from the bizarre shadow carnival and sprinted across the field with giant leaps. Oh, he's coming at me, isn't he? Yeah, I remember this. Go away. I don't like you. It glided on squeaky snow without leaving any prints until it was devoured by the pitch-black shadow of my house, which became even darker and thicker. My heart was jumping around like the bird inside a cage. I shut the curtains with a swift motion and stepped back towards the bed. They saw me. Yep, yeah, they did. They really did. You're in trouble. A freezing torrent of fear washed over me. I stood in the middle of a perfectly dark room and listened to some unwanted guest move and scrape around, looking for an entrance. The sound moved to the right, then circled around the house. Now my guest should be at the front door. I jumped into the bed and covered myself with the blanket as if it could protect me. The shackles of fear locked my muscles. I remembered the funeral, my grandma lying there, hands crossed on her chest, her facial features sharp like that of a tin doll. Why does this come to mind right now? Ants running up and down the legs of the chair that held my grandma's casket. Ants? You're having your funeral outside? Oh, you know what? Maybe you are, actually. I imagine those little creatures climbing up on her head and pulling up her eyelids with their tiny legs. Gross. Then her wrinkly eyeballs would once again move inside their sockets, and she'd be able to see her grandchildren. Extra gross. I was chanting the spell she taught me through the whole procedure. And now, lying under the blanket and listening to squeaks and howls, I was repeating the same words. On the island of Buyan, underneath the blemished sun, in the sea of color blue stands a cabin made of wood. There lay lard and ashen hair, for from Devil's Lair. To feast and always leave alone, God's faithful servant named Anton. Congratulations, this spell is about you. Evil leave this house must. Ashes to ashes, dust to dust. Looks a little spooked. Bizarre sounds had disappeared. I cautiously peeked out from under the blanket and saw curtains waving around like a hanged man. I don't remember this picture. Was this here? Any prologue? Because so far I think I recognize most things. I'm honestly not sure. I just like speed skipped through it because I was gonna skip through it just to get to the point where I was before, and then every now and then I would see just a flash of something I didn't recognize, so I thought it might be different. I honestly don't know. I hope it's not all the same thing again, because you're probably bored. It's fine. It's fine. And then the night doused me with a new portion of boiling terror. It's here. The sound scratched at my eardrums. In reality, something or someone was scratching at the front door, hurriedly clawing at wood, demanding to be let in. Where was I? Actually don't know. The door was shut. Dad had become very cautious recently, so he installed a sturdy lock. I remember him staring at the forest intently as if he was looking for someone. He's possessed. Ashes to ashes. Dust to dust. I hugged my knees, placing my chin between them, and drilled the door with my eyes. It was so flimsy and weak before the might of darkness. And then... Okay, it knows how to open doors. That's great. The doorknob twitched, slightly. That's not slight. It's going all the way down. You're screwed, dude. Then it turned halfway, once, twice, as if the person who tried to enter had no hands. The doorknob tilted once more, and then started clicking violently. Oh crap, we're dead. We're dead. My jaw cracked from here. My wet fingers pressed the blanket. The door creaked open. Hello? The wind taunted me, moaning inside the tinge rains. Now, you'll see. The door was wide open. The darkness writhed inside the carnivorous mouth of the doorway. Tosha. Oh, yeah, see, Tosha. They're calling him Tosha now. This is Olya, isn't it? It was as if the night itself was calling out to me, flapping its black wings and squeaking with rusty hinges. I was trembling, ensnared by the web of darkness that hung in the corners of my room, waiting for the one who weaved it to come out of the gaping black hole. Tony. Tony or Tosha, make up your mind. Is it both? Does Tosha mean something else? Is it like a different language word for like brother or something? I don't know. My abdomen tightened and my chest rose up, ready to exhale a desperate scream. But before I was able to do anything, the darkness asked me, Tosha, are you asleep? Hi, Olya. My sister's pale face protruded from the thick shadows. I almost screamed from relief. Olya? I'm not sleeping. Did something happen? Olya frowned and stuck out her lower lip, a clear sign that she was about to cry. It's there again, staring at me. Shoo her away, Tosha, please. I'm so scared. The fear that was tormenting me just a minute ago crawled away and hid somewhere in my stomach. I needed to calm Olya down. Oh, she's shaking. Oh. It was just a dream, silly. Don't be scared. Dreams don't bite. No one's going to harm you. Olya sobbed. She was trying her best to believe me. I don't think she should believe you. I'm pretty sure you're wrong. But was I sure myself? No. I have an idea. Let's go to your room and watch the video. Sleeping Beauty, for example. It's a movie, not a video. I suppose technically it's a video. You like that cartoon, don't you? Why does Sleeping Beauty have a prince and I have this scary bird? That's a good question. That question took me by surprise. Alright, let's watch Cinderella. My thoughts became tangled, fuzzy. What was that? What studied me with its eyes while dancing feverishly under the moon? Where did Olya go? The darkness was clinging to the window, and it couldn't be fooled by Grandma's old chants. I don't like this. It couldn't be satisfied with a feast of lard and long ashen hair. Tosha, you coming? Oh, stop texting me, I'm busy. Yes, just a moment. I knew I couldn't trust you. Well, I got munched. Oh, no, I'm just dreaming. That's fine. That's why I didn't want to laugh at Olia and her owl in the morning. Oh, was that all just a flashback? Okay. Well, that makes sense. I kind of got lost in all that. So I kind of forgot. Who could be visiting us here in the middle of nowhere? We don't know anyone around here. It's the wolf. So persistent. I felt extremely unsettled from just the silly thought that our morning guests could have come from the woods. They could have. I could barely hear voices coming from the front door. My mind was urging me to hide. In the closet, under the table, behind the curtains where Olia always hides. Tosha, come here. So is your name Tosha or Tony? I'm confused. I felt like the kettlebells were tied to my feet, but still dragged them towards the hallway. It's the cops. A couple of policemen towered over me in the doorway. They smelled like frost and worry. I didn't know worry had a specific scent. My mom always winced and grumbled the moment she saw patrol cars. Worse than bandits. Click, please. Thank you. At the moment, though, she looked somewhat confused. Hello? The senior officer, who wore a grim expression, nodded. A boy had gone missing yesterday. Yesterday. His name's Vova. Look at this, please. Have you seen him? The policeman held out a photograph to me. There was a ginger boy around the age of elementary school, pictured with a wall carpet as the backdrop. He had a striped cat in his hands and wore a wide smile. I like the cat. I would like his cat, please. No, I haven't. Are you sure? Look closely. I'm looking real close. Don't know him. Still want his cat. If he doesn't come back, can I have his cat? Where would I see him? I don't know anyone around here. I barely leave the house. Well, maybe you've seen him from the window? That's right. Your window looks straight at the forest. Your windows look straight at the forest, don't they? The window. He was one of them. No, I haven't seen anything. I see. He sounded tired, but his stare, long and heavy, was full of suspicion. Why are you suspicious of me? I squirmed unwittingly under the weight of guilt, which his giant shadow cast over me. The policeman finally tore his eyes from me and glanced over the hallway, the stairway and the cracks in the ceiling, which I haven't noticed before for some reason. How do you like your new place, by the way? Getting used to it? Bit by bit. It's just our little daughter misses the city a lot. Misses the city, huh? Have the locals been treating you well? Yes, everything is all right. Thank you. The policeman pierced through me one more time with his brown eyes. My head started spinning. Can I help you somehow? I asked that in a shaky voice to look like a polite boy and to end this unpleasant conversation sooner. Now that I think about it, you look just like one of my nephews, little fella. He's a witty boy around your age, wears the same type of goggles. Haha, always engrossed in reading those mystery novels. Told me he wants to enroll in police school when his family visited this summer. Want to help other people, just like me, see? Wanted to help other people. I can't read. I felt uncomfortable, as if a distant relative and not a police officer stood before me. You know what? Little boys like you should stay at home, steer away from trouble. Times have changed so much. Mom interjected in a cold voice. You don't say. Ah, well then. What grade are you in, Anton? How do you know my name? Did I tell you my name? I don't remember. 6th. Have you made any friends here so far? I haven't even started school, have I? Not yet. I'll be going to school for the first time after the break. Ah, then I'll leave you my number, just in case. Call me if you have any new info. The policemen were gone, along with their shadows, the smell of cheap cologne, and the photo of a smiling boy. His face stood still before my eyes. I wondered what it was like for him, being all alone there. For some reason, I thought of the forest swaying in the wind. What did his poor parents feel? And what would my parents do if I'd gone missing? Probably get divorced. Would they cry and thrash around hysterically? Or would they accuse each other like they always do and forget about me eventually? Mom, this Vova, did he go missing in our forest? Seems like it, poor child. I looked out the window at the road. The police UAZ, glossary, drove off towards the village. What's a UAZ? A Soviet and Russian off-road freight passenger car, which was produced by the Ulyanovsk car factory. Fascinating. We learned so much here in this horror game. The officer's nephew came to mind when I was splitting off old paint from the windowsill. I remembered all the teenage mystery novels from the Black Kitty series I've read this summer. Oh, more stuff. Black Kitty, a series of contemporary Russian original or translated teen mystery books. Huh. Your average boys and girls investigated all sorts of mysteries there. They looked for clues, spied on suspicious people, and after a set of amazing adventurers, bam, solved any complicated case. They became local celebrities and must have made their parents very proud. I noticed a trail of policemen's footprints that led to the forest, and then it clicked in my head. Why don't I start an investigation of my own? Maybe I'll find that lost boy. I actually used to do this constantly as a child. This is what I spent most of my time doing. I liked detective stuff a lot. And I'll get a reward. Olia will be so happy. Get her some new cassette tapes. And not only Olia, Mom and Dad too. Maybe they'll even forget about their quarrels for a while. Probably not. It takes more than children's success to fix a broken marriage. Sorry, kid. Maybe I'll even save us from the D word. Nope, probably not. Well, you know what? Maybe. If the story has a nice ending, maybe. I fantasized about buying Olia a Tamagotchi. Oh. Okay, so this is the era of Tamagotchis. I want one of those. And getting a cassette player and a bunch of tapes for myself. And a whole box of Kinder Surprise. When was the last time our parents bought us any toys? Last autumn, I think. My dad had lost his job at the time. There's that annoying song about it. Annoying song about what? Losing your job? Accountant, a song by an all-female Soviet pop band. There were Soviet. Fascinating. I am learning so much. A band by the name of Combination that became widely popular in the early 90s. Okay. So 90s-ish era, probably. Last autumn, yeah. I had little to no idea what was the accountant's job like. They count money, I think? Neighbors used to envy us. But nowadays, Mom and Dad barely had money to afford sweets, and Dad would always divide a single chocolate bar between me and Olia. Sometimes I gave her my share too. No matter how much I wanted to eat sweets, she was still just a pipsqueak. I couldn't wait to go out looking for clues. I'm going outside. Yeah, right. You want the police to go around with your photograph next? The forest is so thick. What if the boy got snatched up by wild animals, or something even worse? Even worse echoed through the hallway. I won't go far. I'll stay away from the forest. Did you hear what I said, or should I repeat myself? Better go pack your school bag or play with Olia. The sound of splashing water came from the kitchen. It meant that the argument was over and Mom had the last word. I can do things. Okay, I'm not sure really what's different. I imagine everybody else will know, but that's fine. I'm going to end this one here, but I'm going to keep playing so I can get another part recorded and pray that this works. Alright, I will see you guys later. Bye-bye.